There's something so exciting about a fresh start, a clean slate, something old made to feel new. Here are 7 things that are the photography equivalent of changing your bed sheets and feeling that cool fresh linen after a hot shower. Number 1, start fresh. Pull everything out of your bag, sort through it, and then put back only the things that you actually still need and use. You may want to rearrange the dividers in your bag or case, or perhaps just change the way things are laid out. Even if you don't necessarily have to, it's really nice to just freshen up the system, and you get a nice little surprise every time you open up your bag and see that beautiful, new, neatly laid out kit. Number 2, top up. Top up your consumables. Certain things in my camera bag are not intended to last forever. In particular, I have this little mini medical kit that I take with me everywhere. It's got painkillers, antihistamines, band-aids, and other little bits and pieces that I use when I travel or on long shoot days. I've also started to carry compact and long-lasting snacks in my bag. Again, you just never know when you're going to need it on those long shoot days and you don't have a chance to have lunch. Those things tend to disappear very quickly. Consider other things too, like a fresh lens pen or lens cloth. Especially if they've seen heavy use over the last year, the last thing you want to be doing is rubbing a gritty or greasy microfiber into the delicate and precious front element of your lens. Number 3, lenses and sensors. Related to this, take a rocket blower and blow out the front and back elements of every lens that you own. This is the best way to clean your lenses, especially if they're just dusty, because you can avoid touching the glass altogether. If need be, once you've given it a good blow, you can go over it again with the microfiber cloth for those more stubborn spots. If you shoot a mirrorless camera, it's also well worth giving your camera a wet sensor clean. A lot of people shy away from this. A lot of people will in fact drop their camera off to a camera store and get it done professionally for between $80 and $100. Honestly, this is one of the biggest scams in photography. It is so easy to do yourself. I understand it's a delicate part of the camera. People are scared of damaging their sensor, but actually, if you're careful, I think it's really hard to stuff it up. If you buy a kit with the swabs and the solution, it's like $30 and you'll get 10 cleans out of it. It'll work out to be $2 or $3 per clean. Number 4, memory cards. Plug in and double check every memory card you own. Make sure you've downloaded everything from your shoots and then format them and put them back in order of how you like to use them. For example, me personally, I have certain cards with higher capacity and faster speeds that I go to first. I want to put them at the top of my case, so when I reach for a card, those are the ones that I grab first. This might seem an obvious one to many people, but I think it's really important. When you put your memory cards back in your case or pouch, only put them in face up if they've been downloaded and they're ready to format. That way at a glance, you can tell which cards are ready to go, and if there's a card in there that's upside down, you know that it is full of data and it hasn't been backed up and you shouldn't be using that one. Another good thing to do is work out which of your SD cards are ready to be phased out. If you've owned a card for over 3 years, I would highly recommend upgrading and removing that one from your rotation. At a certain point, they will all fail and you don't want that to be you on a very important shoot. For example, I leave mine in the glove box of my car, and there was a time recently where I needed to dip into this emergency stash. So it's good to know that there is a card there just in case whenever you need it. Decent SD cards are very cheap now on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. There is absolutely no excuse to not have fast cards available to you at all times. Number 5, batteries. Similar to your memory cards, it's a great idea to replace or refresh your batteries every once in a while too. My batteries tend to get spread all throughout my different bags and kits, so once or twice a year I like to collect them all in one place and just make sure they're in tip-top condition for the year's shoots. I use rechargeable AAs in my flashes. They recycle quicker, they last longer, and if they sit unused in your bag or cupboard, they will literally hold like 70-80% of their charge for a full year. In my Maha Smart Charger, there's an option to refresh or recondition my batteries. This is great for those older batteries you've had kicking around for years. What it does is it slowly charges them, it fully discharges them, and then it slowly charges them back up to sort of reset the memory of the battery. I think that's what's happening, and basically just make sure the battery is functioning to its greatest potential. Camera batteries need love sometimes too. Again, collect them all in one place, charge them to full, and if you haven't already, label them. For example, mine are labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and they have a little sticker on the bottom that says @PJ Pantelis in case they ever get mixed up with someone else's batteries or left behind on a shoot. Number 6, hard drives. This is a boring one, but we all need to be reminded sometimes to back up our current hard drives. I don't have a super great system for this, but it's simple and effective and it works for my needs. I work off SSDs exclusively these days, but what happens when I fill those up is I tend to move the files across to an HDD drive or a larger capacity HDD desktop hard drive. That way my RAWs go away in the cupboard and my JPEGs are always backed up. My final images are always available on Dropbox on the cloud. I know there could always be more redundancy, and offsite storage is very important too. But at this stage and at this volume, the system works fine for me and it's pretty simple and cost effective. I always used to keep my HDD drives intact. I would back them up, have a second copy, and it was easy enough to just buy a new portable drive every time I needed one. But the SSDs are just a little bit too expensive and too useful to have sitting around collecting dust. Number 7, clean your damn room. Get rid of all the papers on your desk, pull out all the junk that's collected in your cupboard, and as you do, make 2 piles. The first one is to donate or, throw out, dispose of. The second one is something that will be valuable to someone. And that stuff you can sell on Facebook Marketplace, for example. It's actually amazing how quickly a bunch of old equipment and just, junk that you haven't used for years can turn into like $400 or $500 to go towards your next gear purchase. It also feels good just to get rid of stuff, and I guarantee you, when you sit down at your desk, you'll be happier in your new clutter-free environment. If you've liked this video, check out the one I just put on screen. In it, I run through my full 2023 minimalist portable flash kit. Now that you're here, I've got to let you